At the peak, how many total employees did you guys have at your peak?
I think it was over 60,000.
Over 60,000 employees. Okay. And I remember, I can't tell you how many of the employees that were people I recruited to the insurance industry whom worked there. To tell you they loved working for the company would be an understatement. To tell you they loved working for the company. When I'm telling you, like, they loved it, I'm telling you they loved it. And they were guys, like one of the things you guys were known for, the bank managers were actually making real money. So people got paid actually pretty well. It's not like people weren't getting paid. You paid better than some of the other guys did, and you took care of your guys. And they were evangelists going around talking about how great WAMU was, to the point where they believed in you and the company so much that they put 100% their 401k stocks into WAMU. They were all like, no, I'm just doing WAMU because this thing's going. I'm going to bank on this long term. Many of them did. Not all of them, but a lot of them did. And by the way, there is that's a sign of believing in the company you're a part of. There's a lot of people that put all their eggs in one basket. Many people who became wealthy did it that way. Now, sometimes if it doesn't go your way, that's also the story that we read about. But for me, when I'm going through this and I'm hearing these stories with where you were at, is there ever where you feel like as the CEO at the top, the balance between, because look, capitalism is run off of greed, and not greed in a negative way. Milton Friedman was on Phil Donahue, and he says, well, don't you think you guys are driven by capitalism? I said, what, Phil, you think you're not greedy? You think I'm the only one greedy? You don't think people in the government are greedy? Like, what makes you think the saint out there that's not driven by greed? Like, introduce me to that person. Like, he's talking about Ralph Nader at that time. This was 40 years ago, one of the best interviews I saw. But all of us want a little bit more. We want to win, right? We want to go out there and win. And we're all capitalists here. We're big proponents of capitalism. Myself, I escaped Iran to come here because capitalism changed my life. However, what do you think is the right balance between the drive factor, hey, we can do more, let's get one more million customers, let's get 10 million more customers, let's do this, and then regulation to balance both, and then having a leader that's able to see some trends to say, guys, we're kind of going on the deep end here that we can kind of screw this thing up. What do you think is the balance between us, the doers, the entrepreneurs, the creators, the disruptors, the competitors, versus the regulators that are out there saying, maybe we need a little bit of regulation with this product here. Maybe we need to kind of take a look at this. What role do you think these two play?
Well, I think, of course, in banking, it's a pretty highly regulated business. And I think we had, for decades, really good relationships with the regulators, and we would have those discussions every meeting about where is that balance between trying to hit financial objectives that we thought were good, and at the same time maintaining a safe profile. And one of the things I did is we had the regulators attend every one of our quarterly meetings where we would lay out the entire strategic plan, what the balance was between growth and what it was for risk management and the like, and they bought off on all those. And again, the bank had always been, in banking you have a numerical rating of 1 to 5, called a Camel's rating, and we were, for years and years and years, a solid 2 rating. And in leading into the financial crisis, they even gave us in 2007, their exam findings to the board. I'll remember the meeting. They said, you are a 2 rating again this year, but we're going to really tell you it's a 2+ rating. It's the best you've ever been, and we're increasing your liquidity rating to a 1, which is the highest in the industry. Well, 12 months later, the financial crisis hits because of all those things like that, and all of a sudden they are all panicked. And liquidity is what ultimately was the major challenge for Washington Mutual. So you go from being a number 1 rated to saying, gosh, this is the most vulnerable part of what we have. But I think just getting back to it, I think that having a good balanced dialogue, we always tried to have it. In a normal course of business, we would typically grow, I'll say roughly 10% a year, sometimes a little less than that. Our major growth beyond that just came when there were some very opportunistic acquisitions, like when we entered California and were able to become a major player there, and we were able to get some acquisitions on great terms and great, that were encouraged to us by the regulators, in fact. So we did have that very strong long-term growth, but we were mostly interested in being sure we had a balanced scorecard. So everybody got paid on a balanced scorecard. It was never just on commissions. It was always balanced out with the loan quality. It was balanced out with efficiency ratios, all that kind of stuff, to try to be sure you're growing a great business for the long term.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.